Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Everquest Old School. And on tonight's episode, I am here with...
Soon, guys. My Barbarian level 4, and that's Bill's Global Gamer. Good to see you.
And I'm also playing my level 5 Shaman. And we're going to be hanging out today over in Everfrost Peaks, basically. No. Hollis would be over the main city.
Yeah, that's the start of, the new zone now.
But it's a pretty cool zone. Oh, we got one pop over
Hollis.
here. We got a pop.
Okay.
There we go.
I think we can handle both of them.
Oh, yeah, probably. I mean, if worse comes down to worse, can both melee it. But I am kind of just sitting down, meditating, using my power just for the reason of healing. You don't really have to do that at this level. At this level, you can get away with just both actually fighting, no matter what class you are. I mean, even as a wizard, at this level, you could actually melee just fine. It's only around like level 8, level 9 that you start to see the classes kind of separate into their own and really start actually being the class that you picked, which is kind of a shame that it takes that long, but it's actually kind of cool too because it gives you a little taste of what it's like to be a tank so that you can kind of understand some of the rules that go along with being in that group with the tank. You gotta know that, hey, when you attack something, the creature is going to hit you pretty hard, so you know not to get aggro. And of course, you're going to learn that lesson very, very, extensively over the course of your time playing that class, especially as a wizard. You know, if you pull the aggro as you progress through the levels, you're going to notice progressively the mobs will do more and more damage to you, to the point where they quite literally will kill you in a matter of seconds. I mean, a couple of hits to a wizard at max level and he's pretty much dead because those creatures are hitting for so many hit points, and on top of that they're actually like quad hitting, so they're hitting like 4, 5, 6 times every single time they hit, so it can get pretty bad. So you definitely want to be very familiar with the fact that how much damage you can take so that you know not to do it. As a cleric you can kind of get away with it. Shamans can get away with it a little bit more. And our friend here, he's actually playing a warrior, so you can't really get better than that. He's going to be the tank above all else who's going to be able to take those hits as a meat shield. Now, he's not going to be able to dish the damage out nearly as well as, say, a wizard or a necro, but it's going to be pretty good because at some point he does get dual-willed. I believe it's like level 6 or 7. I don't remember how soon it was, but he'll get dual-willed, and he can have 2 weapons, one in each hand. And after that point, man, you can do some serious damage as a twink if you get the right weapons, something with a very low delay but have high stats on it or something like that. And towards, I believe it's level 40 is when the effects, the actual procs on the weapons begin to take effect, so that alone can make some of the weapons very valuable and very useful for a tank, even though that the stats on them may not be that great. Like, you may get a weapon that doesn't add very much to it, but yet because it has that proc, and because the proc does so much damage or heals for so much, you decide to use that anyways. And you won't really see very many tanks, warriors in general, using a two-handed weapon because the stats on them usually do not outweigh 2 one-handed ones. Because again, they're really the only class that can get that ability to do that with 2 one-handed ones. So they could really take advantage of that. And there's a great deal of weapons out there that I've seen twinks use. There's really no set that you can say, okay, that's better than all the other ones. That's the one you want to use. It's just about personal preference, and I've seen it go so far as preference towards the different types of creatures you're killing at the moment. Like, there's weapons that will proc against undead, and there's weapons that will proc against everything. And, if you're fighting undead, you may decide to use those weapons that proc against those creatures a little bit more often, rather than, use the other ones which, may not do as much damage, but they proc against everything. So if you're in a zone like Unrest, where literally all the creatures you're pulling are undead, you don't really have to worry too much about the fact that you may get the odd one here and there that it won't proc against, so it's not really worth it to use. But I don't know, for me, I never really got too much into the procs because, you know, I played my Shadow Knight and I played my Cleric, and Shadow Knights really do not get anything, you know, fantastic in the way of procs on their weapons until a pretty high level. And by that point, it's not that big of a deal. You know, like, it makes a difference, but it doesn't make that big of a difference. So I never really, you know, bothered to check out every single one of the weapons that had all these cool little procs on them and different effects that you can do. And of course, my Shadow Knight, he was always using a shield, and the reason you like using the shield as, you know, either a Paladin or a Shadow Knight, although I've seen a lot of Paladins use two-handed weapons for some reason, but the reason I like using the shield is it has a chance to bash the enemy, and when you do that, it has a chance to stun them. And stunning the enemy at a higher level is incredibly useful, guys. I cannot stress how much that can save your group if used at the right time, because the enemies will cast spells. And depending on what spell it is, it can be a huge, huge boon to you to be able to stun him and interrupt that spell. For example, if the mob you're killing is casting Complete Heal, and you're like, oh, that sounds ridiculous, and why would they cast Complete Heal? Why would they give him that spell? Well, to make them incredibly hard. You know, so they do get Complete Heal at a certain stage, and they do get, you know, stun spells of their own, they do get blast spells, and at some point, when you're whittling that guy down, he will decide to use his Complete Heal, and if you guys are ready, you can quite literally stop him from doing that and kill him off easier. Now, if you don't stop him, there's some enemies that will just sit there and Complete Heal themselves over and over and over again until they're out of power. And you can kill them by making them run out of power, but man, it takes so long for that to happen that you're gonna regret it. Like, you just want to stun them and be over with it. You know, like, if you can tell people to hold off with their biggest and baddest spells, like the Necro, and say, like, hold off until the very end, to the last 30% of his life, and then hit him with everything you got all at once. And the Wizard, you do the same thing, and the Tank, you do the same thing. Just hit him with everything you got right there at the very end, and you just whittle down his life at the beginning, make it real slow. That's the best bet that you can do, because that will allow you to kind of bypass that Complete Heal if you can kill him fast enough. Again, if you have stuns, Clerics get stuns, Enchanters get tons of stuns. You know, as a tank, you don't really get all that many stuns unless, of course, you're a Paladin, you're getting some of those Cleric stuns in there. But Polar Bear skin, I don't really need that, but we'll pick it up if you don't got space for it. And that's another thing, you know, our friend here, he just started, and we haven't outfitted these characters. They're not twinks in any sense of the word. If you want to see a twink, you can head over to see my Shadow Knight, who actually happens to be, you know, my best twink at the moment, which is saying something, since I'm pretty much, you know, just coming back to the game after, I don't know, like 11, 12 years of not playing the old school anyways. I mean, I played live for a long, long time, but it's completely different from this old school feel. And so I'm kind of relearning a lot of this stuff and having to level up a character to the point where I can actually outfit one of my other guys. And I've just kind of gotten to that point with my Cleric where I can give my guys bronze armor, and that's kind of what Thom needs here. He could use bronze armor, but the downside to the bronze armor is you got to look at weight. Like, my Shaman has 103 pounds that he can carry. I believe you were saying yours was 137 or something like that?
132 with the buff, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's 132 with the buff, because they gave him some strength buffs and some agility and dexterity buffs, and of course hit point buff as well. But you got to take that into account. I don't want to cast that.
Where did that guy go?
Who? The one you were killing?
That guy. Yeah, oh, there he is. He disappeared in one of the igloos.
Yeah, it's one of the downsides to fighting over here. Sometimes the objects get in the way, but we're so tall that when you try to go inside one of those igloos, you can get stuck sometimes. That will be something you kind of have to get used to as a pooler, though, because you're going to be a warrior. Your chances are going to be pooling on occasion. Now, you're not the best pooler in the world, but you can do it in a pinch. I mean, normally you will have somebody else pull for you. I've even seen people go so far as to have bards pull for them, and then just have the warrior, you know, pull it off of them immediately upon getting back to the group. That's it's a method I've always just preferred the fact that whoever is very familiar with the zone be the pooler, no matter what kind of class they are, because I think that makes all the difference. Even a necro who's very, very familiar with the zone can pull quite efficiently if the tank has the taunt ability to kind of get it off of him immediately upon getting it back to the group. Now, if he can break up the rooms and pull singles, but when he gets back to the room, it takes, 10, 15 seconds for the tank to kind of pull that aggro off of him, probably not going to be worth it, because the amount of damage he's going to take in that amount of time is going to suck up any amount of, power that he would otherwise save for the cleric. So it would just come down to just let the tank go in there and pull it, even if he gets all three at the same time. We don't have an enchanter with us for crowd control. We can just go in there and grab all three, bring them back, and the tank will take far less damage, which means the healer will then use far less power to keep up with that, and it kind of evens itself out. But yeah, I've seen pretty much anybody can pull if they're familiar, and that it's a hard thing. Like, you can't get familiar in a certain area. We gotta pop over here.
Okay.
But yeah, you can't get familiar with an area overnight. That's something you kind of have to earn. It's like a badge of honor. Like, okay, I know this area now, and I've paid my dues because I died like 15 times trying to figure out this one room. Because some rooms at higher levels, you haven't really seen that yet with some of my lower level guys, but with higher levels, some of the rooms are so freaking difficult to master that you will, as a pooler, die over and over and over again trying to figure out how to break it. There's like 5, 6, 7 guys in that room, and if you do it just right, you'll see people, they can pull one at a time sometimes, whereas when you go in there, you simply open the door and you get all 7 guys on you. You're like, what am I doing wrong here? Sometimes it's as simple as opening up the door in a certain spot, looking in, and then casting, Calm or Soothe or Lull on all the creatures that way. Other times, it could be something as complicated as going upstairs to another floor and looking through one of the walls while you're crouching and selecting them that way, then running down and picking off 1 or 2 of them when they're all, lulled and they're no longer as, aggressive as they once were before the spell runs out. Now, that Lull and that Soothe, those spells do not last very long at all. You have a few seconds to pull the creature before the very first one that you cast becomes, just as aggressive as he was before you cast it. And another thing, you can't really tell when it takes effect. When you cast it, I think it may tell you when it resists, but sometimes it doesn't. And so you'll cast it on those guys, you cast it on all 3, 4 guys, and then you'll pull one, and you'll end up getting 2, or sometimes 3, or sometimes all 4, because it's already worn off, or it just never, really fully took effect, or it took effect, but it only lasted for 2 or 3 seconds. Sometimes you'll see that with, like, your Invis spell. You put your Invis spell on, and immediately upon putting it on, it falls off. And you're like, this thing's supposed to last like 45 minutes or something like that, yet it falls off the moment I put it on. And you'll see also sometimes you'll put it on, and instead of doing that, which I prefer to do that, I prefer it to run off immediately upon putting it on so that I'm not in danger, but occasionally it will wear off while you're running through a town or something where you really don't want it to do that. So you do kind of have to be careful with that Invis. It's not a surefire method to get through an area. You can quite literally get in over your head. Oh, there's another guy up. A diver. This is pretty good experience though, right?
Yeah, I like it. I like this little place.
It's a nice little relaxing area. I like the snow. And you can kind of come up here and just chill and relax. Now, the 2 of us are doing it, and we're doing it pretty well. We got a healer and a tank, so you probably won't be killing this quickly, but it's a good spot that you can come to and fight by yourself, or you can head a little bit further in and go to the entrance that I was showing you guys earlier and fight over there in that zone. I can't even think of what the name of the zone is now, the dungeon that's close by.
The no zone?
Yeah.
Is it Slip Hall?
It might be. Man, I can't even think today.
I'm not sure.
I've been over there so many times, I should remember that by now. But yeah, you can go over there. The creatures are a little bit higher. I believe they're around even to yellow to me at my level. But with the 2 of us, we could probably do it. It would eat through a little bit more of my power, and I'd probably have to meditate a little bit more in between fights. But with the warrior taking the hits, I think that would make all the difference. Plus, we could probably do it a whole lot better if, you know, our warrior had better armor. Sometimes just him having the better armor and not even you as a cleric makes all the difference. I've been in groups when I first started with my cleric where my guy had sucky armor, and he didn't have any wisdom gear, and he had nothing great, but I wasn't the one taking the hits, so my armor didn't really come into play, whereas the tank, who's constantly taking hits, he needs that. Like, if the better his AC is, the less damage he takes, and the less you have to heal, and, you know, just the more creatures you can take on at one time. You want to head over there, or you want to keep heading?
Let's do it. Let's definitely, because there's nothing over here.
Yeah, because we're killing pretty quickly over here. You know, it doesn't really spawn fast enough for a group. I mean, yeah, back in the day there used to be groups here, but that's just because there were so many people playing that people would literally camp, you know, spawn points for a spider out here in the tunnels. I mean, it was just crazy how much people wanted experience, and there just wasn't anything to kill. Now we're gonna kill everything we see along the way. I'm gonna let our tank here. Are you using your taunt yet or no?
Oh yeah, it's already up over 23.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, that's perfect, man. As a tank, one of the things a lot of people kind of negate or neglect, I should say, is their taunt. Like, they just don't use it because they're soloing, and there's no reason to use it. You know, as when you're by yourself, there's nothing to steal the aggro away from you. So a lot of the people just coming to the game will be like, you know what, I don't see a point to that, right? And it's not until they get into a group that they're like, okay, maybe now I should start using it, and that's kind of a little too late because your skill is so low, and it takes so long in this game for skills to go up. You know, it's not like other games where, oh, I got a level, and oh, now my skills are maxed out 5 minutes later. No, it could still be hours later that your skill is going up. And I remember as my cleric, there would be some spells that I just never really used that often. I mean, it was, you know, it had the skill point of like divination or, you know, ordination or something weird that was just not a very common spell. And, you know, like, it would be, I'd be going through like a heck level, and it literally would be, you know, weeks later or days later, and my skills would still be going up in that because, you know, again, you just don't use it very often, but two, it goes up so slow. And so sometimes you'll actually see people sitting at the entrance of a zone waiting for a group, and what they'll do is they'll cast a low-level spell that uses that skill over and over and over again on themselves, and that allows them to work that skill up a little bit and get it to, you know, get it a little bit higher, because again, the lower it is, the higher the chance that you will fizzle on it, and it just sucks. Like, you don't want to be wasted. I think this is going to be a dead end, but let's see. Yeah, this is a dead end. I always fall for this one every single time. I don't know if I'm ever going to learn this zone as well as I should. It's kind of weird, you know. It's like, I love the ice and I love snow, but this one is so hard. Like, there's not a whole lot of you know, markers to kind of be like, oh, okay, now I know where I'm at. You know, you just kind of have to, you just have to memorize it. You know, you have to memorize how many turns you took to get to where you're going. And occasionally you will see like a tree up there, and you're like, oh, okay, now I know where I'm at. Or this little pillar right here, and you'll be like, okay, that's something I can use as a guide. But yeah, some zones are so devoid of any existence of those kind of things that unless you've gone through them over and over and over again, and you will, like, at some point, these zones will become second nature to you because you travel through them all the time. For those of you who just watched some of my earlier videos where I actually traveled to Highkeep, you'll notice that it's been like 10 years since I've been in that zone, and yet I still remembered it because not only did I hunt there quite a bit. Can I not loot this thing? Oh, you're already looting it. Getting a little bit of lag there. But not only did, you know, I hunt there quite a bit, but at later levels... Go ahead.
Oh, I got a little bit of lag too, just then.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on the server side or what, but let's keep going down this way. I think we're pretty close. In fact, yep, there it is. There's the entrance. What is this guy? Decaying skeleton.
Okay, he's dead meat.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for the the lyricist and or the vengeful guys. I mean, there's a vengeful lyricist and a vengeful soloist. They're pretty rough, and or he was telling me over here, Beelzebub, a gamer, was letting me know that he's been running into that issue. Like, I've been warning you guys that they're very, very hard to tell them apart just by looks. I mean, they both look like regular skeletons. One's not bigger than the other. One's not, dripping with blood and carrying a bigger weapon or anything like that. They look exactly the same. The only difference between them is one will beat the crap out of you because it's like level 30 something, and the other one is like level 2. So yeah, you got to be very careful with those, and you need to get into the habit of conning everything. Oh, there you go, you're attacking. So are you using anything special? It looked like you had kick there. You have any other specials?
No, not yet. Except for, I do have Slam and Bash. I'd really like to be using Bash, but I need a shield for that, so.
Yeah, and Slam, I don't remember how that one worked. I thought that ogres were the only ones who get Slam, but...
Does it interrupt? I think it interrupts spells.
Yeah,
Spellcasters.
I think they both do. So Slam, I think, is two-handed stuff. So let's see, what are these? Blue and dark blue. Okay, we can take that. 2 dark blues. I think we should be good. How many people are in the zone anyways? So there's 8 players on right now. And about 2 of us who can actually hunt here. Like, the other ones are 49 Shaman, 27 Druid, 30 Druid, 14 Shaman. 14 Shaman might hunt here, a little high, but could probably get away with it. And the other 2 are anonymous, which means, yeah, chances are they're pretty high level. So not a whole lot of people on this early in the morning, which is kind of a shame. You would think there would be more people on. Like, it's really not that early. It's like, what is it, like 11 in the morning? So, yeah, you would think more people. And it's Saturday, you think you would find more people on. But, yeah, not yet, man. So, and then I have ZK sending me a message.
Oh, tell myself what's up.
If you want, yeah, you can send him a message to let him know he's welcome to join us over here. Let's see. What do these guys drop? Ooh. Cloth cap and rusty spear. I'll let you get that.
Ooh, clothes. Are you splitting your loot?
No, I always turn that off. I hate that. I hate the split.
You want me to turn mine off too?
Nah, I mean, it's up to you whether you want it on or not. I don't personally like the split, and I know a lot of people at higher level don't like the split either. Especially once you get past like the first 20 stages of the game, people are saying they don't want the copper, and that's what that split kind of does. Is it creates more copper than there should be, because the game itself will not transfer over the money when you get to a certain point. Like if I go into my inventory right now, and I show you how much money I have, you'll see I have 482 copper. In other games, that copper will automatically transfer over into silver, and from silver into gold, and gold into platinum for you without having to go back to the bank and stuff like that. In this game, it doesn't do that, but it will do it in reverse. Whereas if you loot an enemy and you split it and say it has 1 silver on it, and that's what you would have gotten off of the enemy, but because you have split on, it tries to split it however many ways, however many people you have in the group. So if you have 5 people, it splits it 5 ways. Now you're getting copper off of that. And copper, to a lot of people, especially at higher levels, is completely and totally worthless. Like, they're not even going to waste their time with that. They're going to pick it up, destroy it, and move on. So they would rather, I should say, just have the silver, the 1 silver every so often, than to constantly be getting, their split of copper, which, again, they're just going to destroy. So I don't know, it's just, it comes down to preference, and monks especially will be like, please turn that off, because they can't handle the split regardless of whether it's silver or gold or whatever the case is. They have a very, very small weight allowance, and a lot of the time they're right there on the limit of what they can handle. Wow, we're doing these pretty good. This is not bad at all. I guess we can come over here a little further in.
Should we zone in?
Yeah, we could try. I mean, it may be too hard for us, but if it is, we can always zone out again, because the zone entrance is literally right there.
Did you see how fast I got him off you? 1 taunt, dude.
That's what
on me.
That's what I'm saying, man. If you work on it right off the bat, it's perfect for you. I do like the weapon though. That's the scythe that he's using there. It's just a rusty weapon, but it has a cool look to it. So we
It,
may.
it does a lot of damage too. It's the most damaging weapon I have, even though it's two-handed slashed. I really wish I had a fine steel weapon, but I'm okay with what I got. I'm having fun, and I'm
But
attacking myself.
we'll get you
That's
some better
great.
stuff. The problem with this is, at a low level, if you're gonna twink out these characters, you have to come over here, and this zone is really, really out of the way. Like you're not coming over here for any other reason but
Yeah, I wanted
to
to
do
ask
something.
you. I wanted to ask you, brother, which continent are we on? Are we on the Elven continent? Or are we on the regular continent?
Uh, the Elven No, no, no. We're on the regular continent. We're on
Okay.
the same one as Freeport, I think, is because you can go over to. Yeah, I think we're on free. Yeah, I don't know. It's been so long, but yeah, I think we are. What is this? Error OP loot request corpse not found. I've never seen that error before. That's weird.
Maybe because I just looted it.
At the same
Trying
time,
to
I
take
was trying
turns.
to maybe.
Make it
Yeah, I
possible.
was just trying to loot everything you don't because I know you said you didn't have any room in your
Yeah, I'm
backpacks.
almost full up, dude. I probably should have went and sold before we came over here, but that's all right. I can destroy some stuff.
I mean, yeah, you
Just
can if you need to, but I got plenty of space, I think, for the time being. And as a shaman, I do believe I have the dimensional lore backpacks that I can summon as well that have like 4 slots. And
ooh,
they don't add any weight reduction, I don't believe. And of course, they pop or they disappear when you go link dead or you camp out. And I believe, I haven't tried it yet to find out for sure, but I believe when you go link dead, you lose what's ever in them. But that may not be the case. I just know that this game is not very forgiving in the way of making mistakes like that. So I would not be surprised if you did lose everything when you go link dead. Although some of the time, if you're over, if you have your entire inventory full up and somebody gives you something, it will show up on your cursor as an item until you put it down. And if you have several items given to you, you can put that down, and then another item will show up on your cursor, and then another one, until you put all of it down. I don't know what happens when you log after doing that before you put everything down. Did you just go all the way in?
yeah. There's a knoll here. I think it's camping it.
Oh, what level is he? Yellow.
Same,
Uh, we could try asking him if he wants to join us. I mean, he's perfect level for it
yeah,
right now, yeah. I'll
yeah,
just toss him an invite, see if he wants to join. It's pretty good. We could actually get a group going in here. That would be amazing.
yeah.
Haven't,
Dude, we kick a lot of butt.
yeah, I mean, with a tank and a healer, and then some DPS as a gnome mage, that would be pretty cool. Now, mages are usually the solo class. Now, I don't know if you've been in here before, but you'll have a guy that spawns over here in this room, and then a guy that spawns over here in this room. And so you'll have at least 2 guys, 1 in each.
Okay, so we'll have to be. I don't see. I want to know what they con to me too. Are they red or are they yellow or?
They're pretty high. They're usually even yellow or red to me. And then there's a couple guys that spawn over here in this room. So you do have to remember where you're at. I don't know how many guys spawn over here. I haven't actually been over here in a while. Every time I come in here, I usually start one fight, and it's 2 guys, and they beat the crap out of me, and then I end up zoning it. So it'd be it's just wow. This is kind of cool. I haven't been in here in forever. This is a cool zone, man. Not one that
Yeah, I think so.
I hunted in very much in the beginning. It's not one of those. Who is that?
He red.
Level 9 monk. I guess he could group with us, right? Well, you're only level 4. Probably not.
Well, that's 5 level difference. I think that's what it is, right? And over here is like the entrance to Kano's Hills, right?
Is it over there or over here? I think you're
See,
right. I
I
think
don't
it is
know.
over there. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is over there. Yeah, it's not very far from when you zone in. It's literally right around the corner.
So you could run to it if you decided you want to go level somewhere else besides Everfrost Peaks.
You could run to it if you're lucky. Depending on what level you're at. Like, I wouldn't come in here too soon and be like, oh yeah, I'll just run right through the zone when everything's up. You're probably not gonna make it if you come over here at like level 2 or level 3. You do need to build up a few levels before you work your way over. But this was supposed to be kind of like your progression through, and because again, it is an isolated feeling. the very first time you come in here, really all the characters you're gonna see are gonna be barbarian. Like those are the classes that you're gonna get used to seeing. And it's the same with pretty much any other starting city, is that you're going to get very used to seeing Dark Elves or High Elves. High Elf one is a weird one because you have the Wood Elves who have a home city over there as well. And then you also have the Gnomes who have a city just right down almost down the street basically. It's just 2 zones away. And then you have the Dwarves who, spawn over there in Kaladin right over there next to Butcher Block. Wow, she's kicking some serious butt down here.
Yeah, they're all yellow, so I think we would have done well, but I think it's all going to be camp, dude.
I don't think so. Not with just this few people. I mean, there's only 7 people in here. This zone is huge. I mean, I don't know if we really want to go too far in, but because the elite ones are going to be red. But I mean, I think we can still find a spot. We may just have to look around a little bit. Like this guy, this mage over here, he's left his spot at the entrance, so I guess we could get away.
You want to go back up? Let's go back up and...
You want to try one of these Knoll guardsmen? I don't know. They're red. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah,
let's
if they're
go
red
back
to
up.
you, they'll eat me alive. Yeah.
Let's go back up. But yeah, that area over there is a little unique in the sense that so many characters can start over there that you really won't just see one type all that often. But in like the Dark Elf city, yeah, I mean, you start over there, it's really just Dark Elves. Almost nobody goes into that forest other than people traveling to it, or through it, I should say. I can't open yeah, I'm lagging out here. I see you running into the door. Give me a second, guys. I don't know why the lag's so bad today. It's crazy. Okay. Where is the entrance? Right over here? Yeah, this is the entrance. Anything up yet? And you can use the sound of the game to kind of give you an idea if anything's up. As a pooler, you're constantly be running around, but occasionally you'll be able to hear the growl or the howl or whatever the creature's noise is before you get to it. No, that's the entrance. Watch out.
Okay.
But yeah, you'll hear the noise long before you even get to it, and that will kind of let you know that, hey, there's something up in that direction. You may not know how to get there. You may just hear the howling and be like, okay, how do I, freaking get upstairs into that area? And it may be beyond what you can do. You do hear that quite a bit playing my cleric over in Unrest. You'll hear the fireplace room upstairs with all the creatures when it spawns. And it's kind of annoying sometimes because there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Those creatures are just too strong and too high level for some of the groups that you might be in. This is kind of a cool little area. Did you just fall through the floor?
Oh, no.
Ooh, no, that sucks.
Yeah, that's bad.
Oh, man. I don't know where that leads. I really don't know where that leads. I don't want to jump down there.
No, don't, dude, because I'm pretty much probably going to die.
How high level is it?
Oh, dude, I'm sure it's way above my level.
Because if it's not too high, I don't mind jumping down and we can try to fight our way up, but...
Nah, dude, I don't want us both to die and lose all our stuff. I mean, not that I have anything worth losing, really, but... that sucks. I did not know that was a secret door.
Neither did I. That's a good little tip, guys. Do not go into that little stump. We will have to figure out where that goes later, but for now, I don't know how you're going to get back, man.
I'm going to look around very carefully.
It looks like that little stump is right above the giant pit right here in the center of the zone. You might be able to just turn around from the direction you fell and see if you can walk down this corridor and see if you can see me up here on this ramp. You might be able to find your way up that way. I don't know if it leads to that, but it kind of looks like it does. I mean, it's very, very close in that direction. Do you see a waterfall or any water?
I do see a water. I see a bridge.
I don't see you on the bridge. Maybe it's a different one you're looking at. What direction are you heading? I don't even have my sense heading.
Okay,
oh, there you are. There you are. Stop right there. Stop. You see me? Turn to your left.
Mm-hmm.
To your left. There you go.
Yeah. I see you. I see you.
I don't know if that will lead, but it's leading up, which is the right direction.
What is this? Yeah, maybe. Oh, I got gnolls down here, dude.
What level?
Red.
Well, let me
Oh, I'm
drop.
dead, dude.
I was gonna
No,
say
no,
let me
no,
drop
no,
down there
no.
because we're right there. Let
Don't
me.
both of us die.
Oh, you're dead already. Holy crap, man! You dropped from like 60% to 0 in like a couple seconds.
Yeah, they're all deep red. Daggone it, I had a really good sword I just picked up too, and
Oh man, we're gonna have to figure a way to come back here and get his corpse real quick. So we're gonna go ahead and end the episode here, guys. Again, if you do enjoy these videos, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. Definitely helps grow our channel, and we greatly appreciate it. Also, make sure to leave those comments down below. We love to hear what you think. This is a great game, and it's great to have a friend to play with, and to be able to come over here to different zones and try them out. Hopefully, we will be able to get a group going here. This would be great to do that. I mean, it's fantastic to come over here by yourself, but I don't know. For me, I've always preferred groups. I've always enjoyed, forming them and just wrecking a zone and just going through and seeing what all it has to offer. Especially when you get in situations like this. If you had a group, everybody could have, jumped down there and we could have maybe have fought our way back. It's kind of dicey. You just never quite know. But, there is one way you can get your course back. You could fall down there again and pull it back over here to the bridge, and then if you died on the bridge, you could pull it up from here. In fact, you may still be able to pull it up from here, who knows, but we'll have to mess with that on the next one. So again, guys, thanks for watching, and we will catch you next time.